Greetings, welcome back to my channel. Today is President's Day in the United States, where I'm recording, and I'd like to do a little shadow work on these sorts of things to bring these things closer to home and make them more applicable to us. So if you're wondering, what does President's Day mean to me? Like, it doesn't mean anything, or, I don't like the current president, or whatever your feeling is about it, let's bring it home to the self so we can make it more applicable wherever you are, whether you're in the USA or not. So whenever we see an external thing going on and we feel some sort of disconnect or even a trigger or an issue with it, even if you don't have an issue with it, this is a fun challenge to find the inner president, okay? So we're honoring, celebrating external presidents that have come before, okay? That's a noble thing to do in certain cases, but it's even nobler to turn it around and say, who's presiding in this country, in this inner realm, this inner nation of selfhood? What is the president there? And to look at maybe the issues with the inner president, or where you can step more fully into that presiding role within yourself. The Bhagavad Gita, one of the main yogic texts, as translated by Paramahamsa Yogananda, is a really cool text, and look at how in that book, the battle of Kurukshetra, which is the main story in that book, if you haven't read it, he relates it to the inner battlefield of the mind, and how there is the lower mind, the king of the lower realm, if you will, the ego that thinks he's in charge. And the goal is to kind of overthrow that inner king to reach the higher self, the true inner master of self. And that's the process of the awakening of the life force energy. And all the characters in that book are likened to the different vrittis or patterns of the mind, or negative thought patterns or conditioning of the external world, all things that need to be overcome and slayed in a way. So in a similar way, we could say, if the inner presiding presence is not the highest, is not the one with the greatest mastery of self, that cannot see from the highest vantage point and preside from a place of divine authority, or that witness mind that has the bigger vision for yourself. If you're not, in other words, aligned with the higher mind and working from what I like to say, the bliss body, the bliss self, that integrated self of all the bodies. In yoga, we say the koshas. Then you're working from a lower mind, or a president within that's maybe worried too much about the survival of this vehicle. So that would be, as we talked about in the last video, a more closed root chakra, right? The root chakra, or Muladhara, is the one that's concerned about survival of this earth plane body. So if there is an inner president, the inner president is the higher mind rather than the lower mind, the primal mind, then we have, elevated our experience to one where now we're considering the bigger picture. We are looking at things from the universal mind and what's good for everyone, and how does my role fit into the bigger role. So just a little nibbling of thought for you on this President's Day, to ponder the president within, who is presiding, and if it's not a dutiful leader within. In fact, if you're noticing that these inner thoughts can be tyrannical to you, or not considering the greatest good for yourself, or maybe feeling lazy, or maybe depreciating, or not taking care of yourself really, or working off of old patterns that aren't serving you, then this is a great day to overthrow that inner president and find the presiding presence within you that is of a higher nature. Okay, those are my thoughts today on President's Day. Many blessings to you. And if you're not watching this on President's Day, you can still apply this anytime. It's a great practice. Okay, many blessings. If you want to do shadow work one-on-one, I can do that. We can schedule a session, and I'd love to. Another day, I'll see you again. Namaste.